Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a good topic for today. While we're on the subject of the great man shortage and the problem of men having too much power simply because they're a part of a powerful minority. I guess the reason is that basically, although there's more boys than girls born, in every decade of life, more men die off than women. So, marriage is a very unpopular institution among men these days. And one might ask, well, why is it an unpopular institution? It's an unpopular institution for one very simple reason. Marriage to a man is basically surrendering their power. The one thing that men have over women is that they're naturally, by nature, more independent creatures than women. Men, that's just the way the male brain is wired. It's wired to be independent, to not need to have anybody around, that they can live completely by themselves as hermits. Even the female word for hermit, hermitess, that word is practically never encountered in the English language. Hermitess, the female hermit. Practically nobody knows of any female hermits. There's women who live alone in big houses, but they're always out and stuff. They're always kind of they're out with their friends, or they're partying with somebody, or they're having their girlfriends over for coffee or for tea. But women can't be alone. We're not wired that way. We're not wired to be alone. But men are. Men can be by themselves. You could put a man on an island all by himself with no other human beings on an island. He'll be fine. Men don't get lonely. Men are just not a lonely gender. They're not lonely. Men never get lonely. Which is paradoxical that people like Roy Orbison and people like that write songs like Only the Lonely. Because that's a paradox. The wrong gender is singing that song. If there's anybody that should be singing it, it should be a woman. But isn't rock and roll music kind of ironic and paradoxical like that? It's always the wrong gender of singer that's singing the lyrics. And anyway, I'm digressing. I'm back to the subject of what I wanted to talk about, and the subject is marriage. And I wanted to make an analogy between marriage and a U.S. patent. Now, how is a marriage license like a patent? Well, in a lot of ways. For one thing, it's a legal document. That's all it is. It's a piece of paper. But it's a little more than ink on paper. It's an agreement with the government that the two people have a license to be together, which is kind of hilarious. It's a big joke. Because if you stop and think about it, you need a license to be married. A license for what? License to go out and eat together? You need a license for that? A license to have sex with each other? A license to live under the same roof? You need a license for these things? That's hilarious. I mean, that is absolutely crazy and hilarious. You don't need a license for any of that crap. But, it is what it is. I mean, back in the day, back in the 20th century, when marriage was still a popular institution, when marriage was still a popular institution, and men wanted it and women didn't want it. That's why I'm going to sound like a broken record. You might hear this in my previous videos, and you will hear this statement uttered by me in my future videos. That essentially, in the 21st century, the feminists won, but they really lost. Because now, men don't open doors for women anymore. They don't take women out on first dates anymore. This stuff is a thing of the past. And the men won't give a woman what she needs the most, a marriage license. Since most people are not religious anymore, under the veil of Christianity, people will get married because they don't want to be guilty of sin. But nowadays we define, well, we're together. It's like that song by the Georgia Satellites. Don't hand me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. Ding, 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 ding. Anyway, the Georgia Satellites has the great song. It's called Keep Your Hands to Yourself. The song describes men's attitude towards marriage. It's just men don't want to get married. Why? Because they're sacrificing their power. So then why does a marriage license still exist? Back to what I was talking about before. A marriage license is like a patent. Well, first let me digress and define what a patent is. A patent is a legal document with the United States government saying that you had an invention and that you have the sole right to that intellectual property. A patent is like a copyright. All rights reserved. You write something, you write a letter, you write a short story, a book, something, and you want to copyright it. You write a song, you want to copyright it. So somebody else cannot plagiarize you and steal your material. That's understandable. But a patent is a document. A patent is a document that basically says nobody can manufacture and or sell a product that contains your invention, manufacture or sell your invention without your permission. Or if they do, you could sue them and take them to court for patent infringement. In other words, it's not so much the patent exists for the patent's sake or for the invention's sake. And a better mousetrap doesn't make... A patent on a better mousetrap rather, doesn't make the mousetrap work better. It doesn't help it function better. It doesn't help it last longer. It has no effect on the function and the utility of that better mousetrap. So then why patent it? If the mousetrap will work the same or sell for the same amount of money, whether it's patented or not, it's not for the invention's sake, but it's for enabling a person to sue the person and take them to court for patent infringement. In other words, patents don't exist for a patent's sake, but patents exist for patent infringement's sake. Let me repeat what I just said. A patent does not exist for the sake of the invention itself or for the patents itself, but for patent infringement. Well, let's make the analogy between a patent and a marriage license. The same thing with a marriage license. A marriage license doesn't make the relationship any better. It doesn't improve the quality of the sex. It doesn't improve the quality of how the dishes are washed, or how the kids are taken care of, or how many orgasms you get in bed each night. It doesn't have any effect on that. It doesn't have an effect on the amount of income. it doesn't affect the quality of the relationship in any way. So then the point is, if it doesn't affect the relationship in any way, why do we have a marriage license? Well, a marriage license exists for one and only one reason. The marriage license exists for one and only one reason, and that reason is to make the breakup harder. See, when you're a boyfriend, girlfriend, anybody can walk away from the other person and says, go to hell, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Our relationship is over. Either side can tell the other person to get screwed. Says, I don't want to talk to you anymore, I don't want to have anything to do with you, I'm turning my back. They just walk away. With marriage, you can't really do that. You have to go to court. You have to file papers. The breakup actually requires certain legal steps to be taken. So, that's why a marriage license is so appealing to women. It's appealing to women because a man has to go through more steps to break up with his wife. Like I said, a marriage doesn't improve the quality of the relationship. It doesn't subtract from the quality of the relationship. It has no effect. People are together if they want to be together. If they're in love with each other, if they like each other, they'll be together. But a marriage license has absolutely no effect on the quality of the relationship and what people do in the relationship. It has no effect. So then what's the point of having a marriage license? The point of having a marriage license is for only one purpose. And that purpose is to make I would call it this. I would call it breakup insurance. Because that's what it is. So in other words, what you're basically saying is that a marriage license is got nothing to do with marriage, but it has everything to do with breakups and divorces. And that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Marriage license is a document which makes it harder for two people to break up. More work needs to be done to break up two people. So, for all your ladies or gentlemen out there that are contemplating or entering into a marriage, I bet that a lot of people are not entering into marriage so much because they're in love with the other person. They're entering into the marriage because they don't want to be lonely. And a marriage license makes the other person harder to break up with them. I mean, you could be legally separated. You could be in a situation where essentially you are not together, that you're not together, but you still have that legal document binding the two of you together. So in a sense, if you're married to each other, even though you hate each other, you're still in some sort of a relationship. However, if you're dating someone, there is no such legal document, which means if you are dating someone, either side can just tell the other side to go to hell. And that's my take on it. So, take care, folks, and thanks for watching.